Have you ever truly contemplated the ultimate destiny of our species as we increasingly congregate within the dense confines of concrete jungles? Welcome to our grand investigation into the 69th most significant event in the entire history of human civilization, the era of urbanization. This phenomenon represents a fundamental restructuring of existence, transitioning humanity from scattered kinship groups into massive, interconnected civic conglomerations. Let us now embark upon a journey across millennia to witness how these monumental masonry forests transform the very essence of the human experience. We will explore the depths of our shared history and the future of our urban survival together. The story begins 10,000 years ago at the very dawn of settled life. The story begins 10,000 years ago as wandering tribes abandoned their nomadic traditions to embrace the stability offered by permanent agricultural settlements. In the alluvial plains of Mesopotamia, the mastery of the Tigris and Euphrates allowed for an unprecedented surplus of grain and essential resources. This newfound abundance supported individuals who did not need to hunt or forage, giving birth to a rudimentary division of labor. Villages expanded beyond kinship boundaries, requiring the development of collective governance and early religious hierarchies to maintain order among diverse citizens. By 5,000 years before the Common Era, the foundations for the world's first true urban environments were firmly established. Communities began to specialize, with artisans and administrators forming the first professional classes in human history. The social fabric tightened as people lived in closer proximity, sharing resources and facing common challenges together for the first time. Infrastructure like communal storehouses and defensive walls began to define the physical boundaries of these burgeoning urban centers. The transition was slow but irreversible, marking the end of the nomadic age and the dawn of a settled civil existence. Each village became a node of innovation, where new tools and social structures were tested and refined. Proximity fostered exchange and competition, driving the rapid evolution of technology and governance. By the 4th millennium BCE, the scale of these settlements reached a critical mass, ready to explode into true city-states. Humanity first began to dominate the landscape, carving permanent scars into the earth that would endure. The emergence of these proto-cities signaled a shift in human consciousness as we began to see ourselves as part of a larger whole. This initial stage set the foundations for the massive urban expansions that would eventually reshape the entire planet. Every stone laid in these early foundations was a precursor to the modern metropolis we navigate today. Each grain of sand and drop of water was managed with increasing precision as society grew more complex and ambitious. The transition from a simple village to an organized civic center was the defining leap of our ancient ancestors. The dawn of the urban age was a testament to the incredible ingenuity and resilience of early human societies on this planet. Uruk emerged as a titan of antiquity, housing nearly 50,000 inhabitants within 6 square kilometers of meticulously planned mud brick architecture. The concentration of such vast numbers necessitated the invention of writing to record trade transactions and complex tax tithes collected by elites. Social stratification became rigid, as kings and priests managed the community's wealth from monumental storehouses located at the heart of the center. These early metropolises were enclosed by formidable masonry fortifications designed to protect the burgeoning riches of the citizenry from rival tribes. Urban identity began to transcend bloodlines as residents started defining themselves primarily as citizens of their respective magnificent and powerful city-states. The ziggurats stood as monumental links between the earthly city and the divine realm, dominating the skyline with stepped brickwork. Merchants from distant lands traded precious stones and metals in the bustling street markets, creating the first global economic networks. Labor specialization reached new heights, with potters, weavers, and metalworkers establishing dedicated workshops within the urban grid. Water management remained the lifeblood, with intricate canal systems delivering life to every household and garden. Cuneiform records show a sophisticated legal system that governed everything from property disputes to agricultural schedules. The city was a living organism, pulsing with the energy of thousands of lives intertwined in a complex social hierarchy. Despite the lack of modern technology, these ancient planners achieved a level of organization that rivals many contemporary environments. The walls of Uruk were not just for defense, but a statement of power and permanence in an unpredictable world. This urban explosion in Mesopotamia created the blueprint for all future civilizations, establishing the city as the primary engine. The legacy of Sumeria lives on in every skyscraper and street grid we navigate today, thousands of years later. The sheer ambition of these early city builders remains a testament to the enduring human desire for community and achievement. Every brick was a stone in the foundation of the modern world, laid with purpose and hope for a better future. The complexity of these early centers proved that humanity was ready to transcend its tribal past and embrace a collective civic destiny. This era marked the true beginning of the urban story, a narrative that would continue to unfold for thousands of years to come. The city had become the heart of human progress and the ultimate expression of our shared ambition. The classical era refined urban engineering to an astronomical scale, with Rome supporting 1 million residents through sophisticated plumbing and logistics. Public baths and grand amphitheaters provided communal spaces that fostered a shared imperial culture across diverse ethnic groups within the city. However, this hyperdensity also introduced the perennial urban challenges of fire hazards, overcrowding, and the rapid spread of diseases. Despite these risks, the allure of the capital remained irresistible, drawing migrants from every corner of the vast Mediterranean empire. Athenian democracy flourished in the Agora, a central hub for intellectual exchange and political discourse among the citizenry. The grid-based planning of Roman military colonies ensured order and efficiency as the empire expanded across 3 continents. Massive granaries and supply routes were essential to prevent famine among the densely packed urban proletariat. Civic architecture became a tool of propaganda, projecting the power and stability of the state to both residents and visitors. The noise and chaos of Rome's narrow streets were legendary, requiring strict regulations on cart traffic during daylight hours. Wealthy elites retreated to quiet villas while the majority of the population resided in multi-story insulae made of wood and brick. This period established the city as a center of culture, power, and monumental architectural ambition that would inspire future generations. The integration of public services like fire brigades and police forces showed an increasing commitment to urban management. Roads connecting every province to the capital ensured that the heart of the empire was never isolated from its territories. The decline of these great centers would eventually lead to a dark age of urban decay and fragmentation across the continent. Yet, the memory of Roman urbanism lived on, serving as a standard for all later attempts at large-scale civic organization. The classical city was the ultimate expression of human control over the environment and the complexity of social organization. It was a world of marble and shadow, where the heights of luxury and the depths of poverty existed side by side. The legacy of the polis and the urbs continues to shape our understanding of citizenship and urban life in the modern age. Every forum and agora was a stage for the drama of human life, played out in the heart of the great capital cities. This era proved that the city could be a center of enlightenment and a machine of conquest, all within a single urban grid. The grandeur of Rome and the wisdom of Athens remain the pillars upon which our modern urban world is built. Following the collapse of classical empires, urban life retreated behind fortified walls as trade routes became perilous and central authority fractured. Medieval towns functioned as vital market nodes where guilds controlled production and young apprentices learned specialized crafts under strict regulations. The cathedral replaced the forum as the symbolic heart of the community, its towering spires reaching for heaven above the dwellings. Sanitation remained primitive, with open gutters carrying waste through the streets, creating fertile ground for devastating pandemics that periodically depopulated districts. Yet, the phrase "city air makes you free" emerged as a beacon for serfs seeking to escape the bonds of manorial obligations. Walled cities like Carcassonne or London became centers of burgeoning mercantilism and the eventual rise of a powerful middle class. Universities and centers of learning began to appear within these walls, preserving and expanding human knowledge during a time of fragmentation. The ringing of church bells dictated the rhythm of daily life, calling residents to prayer, work, and communal defense. Fairs and markets drew people from the surrounding countryside, facilitating the exchange of goods, news, and diverse cultural practices. Social life was intensely local, centered around parish churches and neighborhood guilds that provided a safety net for their members. The gradual expansion of these towns required the construction of successive rings of walls to accommodate the growing population. Medieval urbanism was characterized by a delicate balance between the need for defense and the desire for commercial growth. The narrow, organic street patterns created a sense of intimacy and community that is often missing in modern planned environments. Despite the challenges of fire and disease, these cities were vibrant centers of artistic, religious, and political transformation. They served as the bridge between the fallen glory of Rome and the explosive growth of the coming industrial age. The resilience of urban life during this era proves the enduring necessity of the city as a human habitat. Every marketplace and guild hall was a testament to the enduring power of collective human effort and ambition. The medieval city was a world of stone and timber, where the future was forged in the heat of the forge and the silence of the scriptorium. It was a time of recovery and consolidation, preparing the way for the massive changes that would follow in the centuries to come. The identity of the citizen was reborn within these walls, setting the stage for the modern urban experience. This era of reconstruction and rebirth was the vital link in the long chain of our urban history and social evolution. The 18th century witnessed a demographic cataclysm as steam power shattered the traditional limits of agricultural productivity and manual manufacturing. Manchester became the shock city of the age, growing from 15,000 residents to over 2 million as laborers flocked to factories. By 1800, only 6% lived in cities, but the United Kingdom soon became the first truly urban society. This rapid transition created a new industrial proletariat, living in hastily constructed tenements that often lacked basic ventilation or clean water. The sheer speed of growth outpaced the capacity of traditional governance, leading to unprecedented social friction and the rise of labor movements. Factory whistles replaced church bells as the primary timekeepers, imposing a rigorous and exhausting discipline on the urban population. The air was thick with coal dust and the noise of machinery, creating an environment that was both productive and profoundly unhealthy. New social classes emerged, with wealthy industrialists living in grand mansions while workers crowded into damp and dark cellar dwellings. Infrastructure like canals and railroads were carved through the urban fabric to move raw materials and finished goods to global markets. The city became an engine of economic output, driving the expansion of global empires and the concentration of unprecedented wealth. However, the visible squalor of the slums eventually triggered a crisis of conscience among reformers and the burgeoning middle class. Literature and art from this period reflect the awe and terror inspired by the sudden emergence of these sprawling industrial giants. The Industrial Revolution was not just a change in technology, but a complete transformation of the human relationship with space and time. It laid the groundwork for the global urban civilization we inhabit today, for better and for worse. The struggle for labor rights and improved living conditions would define the political landscape of the 19th and 20th centuries. The industrial city was a laboratory of social change, where the modern world was forged in fire and steam. Every factory, chimney, and railway track was a symbol of a new era of human power and environmental impact. The transition was painful but profound, reshaping the face of the earth and the nature of human society forever. We are the children of this industrial explosion, living in the world that it created with such raw and unrelenting force. The city had become a machine for living, a complex and often brutal environment that demanded constant adaptation. This era proved that urbanization was an unstoppable force that would eventually consume the entire planet in its relentless and powerful expansion. Public health crises eventually forced a radical reimagining of the urban fabric, as cholera outbreaks revealed the lethal consequences of neglected infrastructure. Pioneering planners like Haussmann in Paris demolished crowded slums to create wide boulevards that improved air circulation and facilitated military movements. London's massive subterranean sewer system significantly increased life expectancy, proving that engineering could mitigate the inherent dangers of high-density living. These interventions marked the birth of modern urban planning, where the state assumed responsibility for the hygiene and safety of its citizens. Zoning laws and building codes were established to ensure that the rapid expansion of the metropolis did not compromise basic human dignity. Public parks were created as lungs for the city, providing space for recreation and a connection to nature for the urban masses. The installation of gas lighting and later electricity made the streets safer and allowed the city to function around the clock. Mass transit systems like the subway and streetcar allowed for further expansion, enabling workers to live further from their places of employment. These improvements made the city a more attractive and viable place to live for all social classes, not just the elite. The professionalization of city management led to more efficient delivery of services like water, fire protection, and waste removal. The sanitary revolution proved that the problems created by urbanization could be solved through collective action and scientific innovation. It transformed the city from a place of death and despair into a center of progress and improved well-being for millions. The legacy of these 19th century reformers is visible in every clean tap and paved street we take for granted today. Urban planning became a dedicated discipline, combining aesthetics, engineering, and social policy to shape the future of the metropolis. The success of these initiatives allowed cities to continue growing, paving the way for the massive expansions of the 20th century. Human ingenuity had once again mastered the environment, creating a sustainable foundation for the modern urban age. Every clean park and wide boulevard was a victory for human dignity and public health in the heart of the great metropolis. This era proved that the city could be a place of beauty and health, as well as production and power. We learned that the urban environment must be managed with care and foresight to ensure the survival of its inhabitants. The sanitary revolution was the first major step toward the sustainable and resilient cities we are still striving to build today. It showed us that the city is a collective responsibility, requiring constant effort and investment to remain a healthy human habitat. This period established the standards for urban life that still govern our modern cities across the entire globe for the benefit of all citizens. In the mid-20th century, the internal combustion engine allowed the city to spill over its boundaries, creating vast suburban rings and sprawl. Highway systems were carved through historic neighborhoods, prioritizing the movement of vehicles over the cohesion of local pedestrian-oriented communities. This era of decentralization led to the decline of many traditional inner cities while fueling a consumer-driven culture based on car ownership. However, the environmental cost of this sprawl became increasingly apparent as air pollution and carbon emissions reached levels that threatened stability. Urbanists began to question the long-term viability of this low-density model, advocating for a return to more compact and walkable developments. The dream of a house in the suburbs with a white picket fence became the primary aspiration for millions in the developed world. Shopping malls and office parks replaced the traditional downtown as the centers of commercial and social activity for many residents. This transition led to increased social isolation and a dependency on fossil fuels that would have long-term ecological consequences. The destruction of vibrant urban neighborhoods for highway construction remains a controversial chapter in the history of modern planning. Yet, the automobile also provided unprecedented personal mobility and a sense of freedom that reshaped the cultural landscape of the century. Cities became fragmented into specialized zones for living, working, and shopping, connected only by the thin ribbons of asphalt and concrete. The rise of the Sunbelt cities in the United States reflected this new model of horizontal, car-dependent urban growth and expansion. Today, many cities are struggling to retrofit these environments for a more sustainable and transit-oriented future for their growing populations. The challenges of traffic congestion and urban decay have forced a renewed interest in the revitalization of historic urban centers. We are learning that the city must be designed for people, not just for machines, to truly thrive in the long term. This period reminds us that our technological choices have profound and lasting impacts on the physical and social structure of our lives. The search for a balance between mobility and community continues to define the contemporary urban planning discourse and practice today. Every highway interchange and shopping mall parking lot is a reminder of this era of horizontal expansion and car culture. We are now working to reconnect these fragmented environments into a more cohesive and efficient urban fabric for all residents. The automobile era taught us that speed and distance are not the only measures of a successful city and human society. We must find ways to live together that are more efficient, equitable, and environmentally responsible for all future generations. This period of sprawl was a detour on the long journey of urbanization, leading us to a deeper understanding of our collective needs. Today, we are rediscovering the value of density and walkability in the heart of our great modern cities. The challenge is to preserve the freedom of mobility while rebuilding the sense of community and place that we lost. We are building the cities of the future on the lessons learned from the mistakes and successes of the automobile age for the benefit of all citizens. Today, we live on an urban planet where 33 megacities each house over 10 million individuals in a hyper-connected global economic network. Jakarta and Dhaka have surpassed traditional giants like Tokyo and New York, representing a massive shift in the center of gravity toward the south. These colossal conglomerations act as engines of innovation and economic growth, accounting for a significant portion of the entire world's product. Yet millions in these cities remain trapped in informal settlements, highlighting the extreme social inequalities that persist within these glittering concrete forests. The challenge of the 21st century is to ensure that these massive hubs remain inclusive and resilient in the face of rapid change. Rapid urbanization in the developing world is driven by the search for economic opportunity and escape from rural poverty and environmental stress. These cities are often growing faster than infrastructure can be built, leading to massive challenges in sanitation, transportation, and housing for all. Digital technology is transforming how we navigate and manage these complex environments, from ride-sharing apps to smart energy grids and sensors. The concentration of talent and resources in megacities makes them fertile ground for the development of solutions to global problems like climate change. However, they are also highly vulnerable to the impacts of a warming planet, particularly those located in low-lying coastal regions and areas. The management of these massive human aggregations requires a level of international cooperation and local innovation that is unprecedented in our history. We must ensure that the benefits of urban life are shared by all residents, not just the wealthy elite in their fortified enclaves. The future of global stability and prosperity is inextricably linked to the success or failure of these massive urban experiments today. Every day, thousands of new migrants arrive in these cities, each bringing their own hopes and dreams for a better life and future. The megacity is the ultimate expression of our shared human destiny on a crowded and rapidly changing planet for all future generations. Our ability to govern and sustain these environments will be the ultimate test of our species in the centuries to come. The era of the megacity is just beginning, and its final form is still being written by the billions who inhabit them. Every skyscraper and informal settlement is a part of this grand global narrative of human ambition and struggle. We are all citizens of this urban planet, connected by the thin threads of technology and commerce that span the entire globe. The success of the megacity depends on our ability to create environments that are both efficient and humane for all inhabitants. This is the greatest challenge of our time, requiring all our creativity and collective effort to master and overcome. We are building the future in the heart of these massive urban giants, one street and one life at a time. The megacity is the laboratory where the destiny of our species will be determined in the coming centuries. Let us strive to build a future that is inclusive, resilient, and prosperous for every single resident of these glittering concrete forests. Our shared urban destiny is the ultimate goal of the long journey that began 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent. The city remains our greatest invention, and its survival is our greatest responsibility on this crowded and changing planet. This is the era of the global megacity, a monumental shift that has redefined what it means to be human in a connected world. The cities of the South are the front lines of our urban future, where the final form of our civilization will be determined by the actions we take today for the benefit of all. As we confront the realities of the urban heat island effect and resource scarcity, the next revolution must be one of sustainability and intelligence. Cities are responsible for 70% of global carbon emissions, making them the primary battleground for our efforts to mitigate environmental degradation. We are witnessing the emergence of smart cities that utilize data to optimize water consumption, reduce waste, and improve the quality of life. The future of the human species depends on our ability to transform these dense masonry jungles into thriving, green, and resilient ecosystems. Innovations in building materials and renewable energy are allowing us to create structures that produce more energy than they consume for all. Urban agriculture and vertical farming offer the potential to provide fresh food directly to residents, reducing the environmental impact of long-distance transport. The restoration of urban waterways and the creation of new green spaces are essential for maintaining biodiversity and improving mental health for citizens. We must prioritize public transit and active mobility to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels and create more livable street environments for everyone. Collective action and forward-thinking policy are required to ensure that our cities are prepared for the challenges of a changing global climate. The goal is a city that exists in harmony with the natural world, rather than in opposition to it, for the benefit of all. Every resident has a role to play in this transformation, from small lifestyle changes to active participation in local civic governance and life. The sustainable city is not a distant utopia, but a necessary and achievable reality that we are building one innovation at a time. This transition requires a fundamental shift in how we value and manage our shared urban resources for the long term and posterity. The lessons of history show that we are a species capable of incredible adaptation and creative problem solving in the face of great adversity. Our urban future can be one of prosperity, equity, and environmental balance if we have the courage and vision to build it together. This final stage of our journey represents the ultimate goal of the urban revolution that began 10,000 years ago in Sumeria. The city will continue to be the heart of the human story, a testament to our enduring desire for connection and monumental achievement. Every green skyscraper and smart energy grid is a sign of our commitment to a better and more sustainable future for all. We are building the cities of the future on the foundations of the past, with the knowledge and tools of the present. The journey of urbanization is a testament to the incredible resilience and ambition of the human species on this planet. Let us move forward with hope and determination, building a world that is inclusive, resilient, and environmentally responsible for all. The city is our greatest creation, and its sustainability is our greatest legacy for future generations to inherit and cherish. This is our shared urban destiny, a narrative that we are writing together with every action and decision we make today. The city of the future is within our reach, if we have the wisdom and collective will to build it together. We are the architects of our own destiny, living in the heart of the great masonry jungles that we have created. The long road from Uruk to the sustainable megacity is the most incredible journey in the history of our entire species. Let us ensure that the final chapter of this story is one of harmony, prosperity, and enduring environmental balance for all. The city remains our greatest home, a testament to our enduring desire for community and monumental civic achievement for posterity. Every green street and smart building is a part of this grand vision of a more sustainable and equitable urban world for all. We are building the future together, one innovation and one life at a time, in the heart of our great modern cities. This is the ultimate goal of the 69th most significant event in the entire history of human civilization: urbanization. The future of humanity is urban, and that future starts today in every city across the globe for the benefit of all. Our journey through the 69th most pivotal event in history reveals that while we build cities, those very cities also build and define us. Thank you for joining this extensive exploration into the evolution of urbanization and its profound impact on the trajectory of our entire global civilization. I hope this documentary has provided you with a deeper understanding of the world we inhabit and the challenges we must overcome together. Please subscribe and like this video to support our historical documentary series. 구독과 좋아요를 눌러주세요. 감사합니다.